It is time for us to take back our stores from organized retail crime. We have a new competitor, and that competitor is organized retail crime, also known as ORC. They are costing our industry $45 billion a year. $45 billion. For decades, internal theft has been the leading cause of our losses, but times have changed. Now it's external theft. And you might be thinking that this issue is just a local issue, but it is not. It is nationwide, from coast to coast. Good afternoon. We are the Bottom Line Securi-Team. I am Nancy Clino from Albertson Safeway.
Representative from Grace Coca-Cola.
Kate Gunderson with Lazy Acres Natural Markets and Bristol Farms.
My name is David. Industry leaders, we're here today to talk to you about organized retail crime. It's important to understand that what we're talking about today is not traditional shoplifting. This is not the hungry individual stealing out of necessity. This is not the opportunistic group of high school seniors taking a six-pack of beer to go drink under the bleachers of their high school homecoming. What this is a coordinated effort by two or more individuals who are coming into our stores and stealing massive amounts of product to resell for their own gain, often without any opposition. I'll say that again. They are taking our product and they are reselling it for their own profit. These are our new competitors, and this is what they look like.
Call it shoplifting. This kind of stealing is a much bigger problem.
Thieves snatching merchandise from popular stores so they can make money by selling it. Tiffany Craig has been looking into this growing problem of criminals stealing to sell.
But this is one of the most brazen yet. This is not a scene from one of those all-you-can-grab game shows. Cops say these are thieves who broke into a supermarket and walked out with shopping carts packed with items.
The security footage that you are witnessing here shows not one, but multiple organized crime groups competing against each other to steal as much product as they can over the course of several hours on a single night. This is just one example of what our stores are dealing with on a regular basis.
Brazen shoplifting inside a Walgreens in San Francisco. Just look at the suspect's shameless thievery. He's actually behind the counter, filling his bag with loot, seemingly without a care in the world. Then, as he casually leaves, he knocks the cell phone out of a customer's hand, and the two go at it. What happens next will shock you. It's a food fight. They literally go bananas at each other. The customer retaliates by throwing more bananas at the bad guy, hitting him in the back. There's more. This time, Chips Ahoy cookies are flung right at the suspect.
Hey, stop!
As you can see, retail crime is changing. And so it's time that we change with it, to take a stand within our own four walls to do something actionable and stop the evolution of retail crime. Today, we're here to ask you to reimagine what the front store can look like in a way that will protect our products, our people, and our bottom lines. In a way that will allow us to merchandise our product and still cater to our customers and not the thieves. So today, we want to take you through the evolution of retail crime, the human impact that it has, and then finally offer a recommendation for how we feel we can mitigate some of the losses from this issue. So first, let's take a look at the structure of organized retail crime.
Organized retail crime is a systemic issue that is being managed and enabled by a very sophisticated organization. So let's take a look at how this organization is being managed or operated. It starts with the kingpin, who is essentially the orchestrator. This is a person or a group of people that is telling people how to steal, what to steal, and where to steal it. They're also in charge of recruitment. And often the orchestrators are looking for people that are at vulnerable moments in their life. So whether that be they are strapped for cash or just out of prison, those are the people that they were trying to recruit. These recruits are called boosters. The boosters are those people that you saw in the video that are doing the act of snatch and grabbing, actually doing the stealing. And what you probably noticed from the video is that there's no one demographic that's involved in this. It's all ages, genders, and races that are being recruited by the orchestrators. The next step is that these boosters, once they've stolen the product, are reselling it to a group called the FIMs. These people, if you will, are considered the distributors. They're sending it to all of these different channels at the middleman. Monthly flea markets, online marketplaces like Facebook or eBay, or even convenience stores, pawn shops, or street vendors. Now, there's obviously a lot of issues going on here in this organization, right? But one of the biggest concerns for us is the end consumer. Because the end consumer is unknowingly purchasing stolen product, which we have no idea what happens between the time that it leaves one of our distribution centers to the time that it gets into the consumer hands because it's been stolen. The organization may have changed expiration dates. They may have tampered with the product, actually filling it with different product than what was initially left from a CPG manufacturer's PC or a retailer's PC. As an industry, we put a lot of time, effort, and money into ensuring that product is safe for our consumers to either digest or purchase for some of their household goods. This, unfortunately, cannot be controlled as organized retail crime becomes a more efficient organization.
Out of the top 10 items that are most stolen, on average, our industry carries 6 of them. That is laundry detergent, white teething strips, razors, alcohol, over the counter, and the one that we have found out that they have tampered with and extended expiration dates is baby formula. Think about that for a second. They are stealing our baby formula and reselling it and tampering it with it and extending the shelf date. These items, you find them in all of our households. This is why the boosters are coming into our stores, going down our aisles, and cleaning us out 100%. And as an industry, we have done everything possible to keep these items in stock for our paying customers. These boosters are only getting pennies on the dollars for this item. So that is why it is so lucrative for organized retail criminals to do this.
Unfortunately, organized retail crime is impacting more than just our industry. It's impacting the communities that we live in. It's a gateway crime because it helps fund the sales and the distribution of illegal weapons and drugs into the neighborhoods that we serve. Throughout our research, we also identified that it has been linked to human trafficking, kidnapping, and even international crime. We now would like to share with you how it's negatively impacting our associates.
Our associates are our family, and they are decreasing their productivity and their morale because of the criminals. 86% of the time, criminals are actually threatening our associates. 40% of the time, they're harming them. Our store policies say that they cannot intervene when they see crime happening. That's for safety reasons. But criminals know that, and they continue to come back to the stores to steal more. We need to do something. We need to protect our associates.
In addition to the impact that organized retail crime is having on our associates, it's also impacting our customer experience. In an effort to mitigate our losses, our industry has resorted to locking up product. In some instances, we are locking up entire categories, including low-cost items such as toothbrushes or toothpaste. Imagine you just moved into a new home, a new area, and you need some essentials. So you make a list, 10 to 15 items. You head down to now your new local grocery market, only to arrive and find out that more than half of the items on your list are locked up. This is causing our customers to then have to, one, find an associate to come and unlock the cabinet, or if there's a call button system, press it and wait. Studies suggest that 32% of customers are not willing to wait at all, and 28% are willing to wait 1 minute or less. The current average wait time is currently exceeding 9 minutes. Meanwhile, when the associate arrives to the aisle, there oftentimes is now multiple customers waiting for service. And so that list of 10 to 15 items, if the original customer had decided to wait, now gets shortened significantly because they either didn't wait or there's pressure from new people that have arrived on the aisle and need help as well. There's also sometimes a sense that their privacy is being invaded. Sometimes these locked up items are sensitive items. So in all, organized retail crime, it's restricting our sales and it's creating a frustrating shopping experience.
As you can see, organized retail crime, or ORC, is almost an impossible problem to solve. Before we get into our recommendation for your consideration, we first want to talk a little bit about all of the efforts that have already been made or are currently being made to try to solve this issue. First, retailers have been in a really great habit over the years of developing and nurturing positive relationships with their local law enforcement agencies. The better the relationship is between the retailer and their local police officers, the more responsive the police officers are to retailers in the event that they call and say that they've just been hit by a crime ring. There are also organizations called ORCAs, which stands for Organized Retail Crime Association. There are currently 48 of these associations in the United States right now, and they are a collective of individuals from both the law enforcement side as well as the loss prevention side within retail organizations. These two parties of people come together to discuss the trends that they're seeing within ORC in the regions that they serve and try to find creative ways to mitigate some of the losses associated with ORC within their communities. There is also currently a piece of federal legislation being proposed called the Informed Consumer Act. And if this act is passed, it would make it tenfold more challenging for these criminals to sell our stolen goods on online marketplaces such as Facebook Marketplace, Amazon, and eBay. And what we know about these sales channels right now is that they are some of the most lucrative, profitable sales channels for these criminals. So we're really keeping our fingers crossed that this gets passed at the federal level. Where we are feeling the biggest disconnect, though, right now, is that prosecution for ORC offenses varies state by state. Over the last 20 years, 38 separate states, including California, have reclassified a series of high-level felony offenses to become misdemeanors. And the reason for that sort of reclassification has been done with the intention of lessening the burden on state prison systems. What that means is essentially the less criminals you give felonies to, the less people you have to put into prison. We are ultimately the ones that end up suffering because of this. And it's important to know that all of these efforts that we've just talked about, it's really important work. We need to continue to get behind the people and the organizations who are lobbying for positive, professional, legislative change. But unless we do something within our own stores and take control right now of what we can control and take back our stores, then we will continue to be top-tier targets for these criminals. This leads us into our recommendation.
So we've walked you through the impact that organized retail crime is having on our industry, our associates, and our customers. We want to share with you our recommendation of a reimagined center store with digitized aisles using tried and true technologies that will improve the customer experience, help us secure our bottom line, and allow us to take back our stores. What you see here is an example of the reimagined center store, where we have relocated all high theft items to the center aisles. We've been able to shorten the aisles by reducing the facings to one. These aisles are now thinner and shorter, giving us more creative merchandising space on the sales floor, also allowing us to expand facing on the other aisles for high velocity, fast moving items such as carbonated beverages and water. The customers will be able to shop at these digital aisles. They will see all of the items that we currently carry. Nothing is locked up. They would just tap the screen to select the items. They will be automatically loaded to their loyalty card. While the customer continues their shopping in the perimeter of the store, our associates will be in the back room fulfilling those orders and then delivering them by way of an overhead conveyor system, and they will be ready for them at checkout.
what about that human interaction? So brick and mortar stores are here to stay. We are asking you to reimagine the center of the store, and we've done this before. And it's been very profitable for us. Back when we didn't have frozen aisles, somebody took a chance, they did it, and it's paid off. So we want to keep the perimeter of the store. We want to change the perimeter, but the outside of the store, we want to keep that. We want our customers to go to the produce department and be able to pick out their own produce. Go to their favorite meat associate and say, hey, what am I having for dinner tonight? Go to bakery, deli, and keep all the perishable departments just like we have them today.
The convenience of the perimeter of the store has now been brought to the center of the store. The customers will see all those categories that normally are locked up and unavailable, hard to access, available for them. This is a closer view of what it will look like for the customer. They can actually tap the screen, the item will turn around, and they can check label information. Everything that they weren't able to get before is now easily available.
So we've seen these organized retail criminal groups getting more and more sophisticated every year, and the cost to us going up and up every year. So it's time that we invest in our stores in a way that we can mitigate these losses. Based on high-level estimates, we expect that a store can fully implement this process with about $1.3 million. And while that seems like a lot, it's important to realize that the labor saved from stocking and restocking shelves that have products simply walking out the door is going to help us recoup these losses, and we estimate that taking approximately 5 quarters. In other words, over the course of 10 years, a single store can increase their revenue by approximately $9.4 million.
Whether you're a CPG supplier or a retailer, organized retail crime is our industry's common competitor. It's continuing to put our products' brand equity into question. It's putting our associates and our customers in danger every single day, and it's costing our industry $45 billion in losses every single year. We fail to change the way we combat ORC. We are concerned that the violence and the losses will continue to rise. Our industry has done a lot to combat ORC, and we need to continue to fight it with legislation and community engagement. Today, we also recommend that you consider digitizing your center store. And we're confident that the investment that you make are not only going to mitigate the losses that you receive from ORC, but can also enhance the customer experience, driving top-line sales. We have an opportunity to revolutionize our industry. And it is time that we take back our stores, we merchandise them for the customers, and we protect our bottom line. We appreciate your time today. If you would like to connect with your bottom line Securi-Team, or connect with your bottom line Securi-Team, or learn more about ORC, please connect with us using the QR code behind us. Thank you for your time. We'd like to answer any questions that you may have.
Hi, good morning. Good job on your presentation. I'm the immediate past chair of the CGA, and you guys just talked about legislation and fighting organized retail crime. Did you guys look into how Prop 47, the most recent legislation, has affected organized retail crime? And a lot of the investors are in this room in fighting the Proposition 47, but we actually lost after a lot of, which is unfortunate because it brought the limit of giving everyone a license to steal at $950 a pop. And they can go to every one of our stores and do that all day long and maybe just get slapped with a misdemeanor. So with that, the cost that it's, have you seen how that legislation has affected organized retail crime to rise to the amount? It's a loaded question, I'm sorry. How much it's affected organized retail crime with Prop 47 passing?
I'm happy to answer that question. Thank you for it. Yeah, a lot of the research that we did leading up to this presentation was focused around Prop 47 specifically. So Prop 47, and I want to make sure I'm quoting this correctly, but that was passed in 2014. We lost it, raised the felony threshold from $450 I believe somebody could steal $450 worth of product and get a felony, and then it changed to $950 worth of product before getting a felony. And what we've seen, and I actually don't think I mentioned this in my part of the presentation, but in states where that felony threshold has increased, so too has the incidence of organized retail crime incidents. So I know Prop 20 was also proposed in 2020, and that was meant to repeal Prop 47, but that also did not pass. So I think we still need to do a lot of work around lobbying for change legislation to lower the felony threshold so that we can more severely penalize the people who are so brazenly coming into our stores and stealing massive amounts of quantity of products. Did that answer your question all right? Okay. Thank you for that.
Interesting presentation. Sorry, there was a delay there. And an interesting solution to the problem, which we all face. I'm glad you guys tried to tackle that. Other than capital allocation and maybe internal resistance to this idea, what do you see are the top 3 challenges that you will face as it relates to consumer acceptance?
Well, I can start with one. I think in more traditional demographics, consumers specifically, they may be a little coy about adopting digitization within the center store, but we can build some really great training tools and invest upfront some more labor dollars for our team members to help train our customers to be more comfortable with this new technology. But we do feel like even the digitization is much more welcoming than locked boxes or anything that feels like it's shaking your sense of security because everything is locked up. So that's one.
This has also been done in similar fashion, like in China, they do it at their subways. It's more not to fight organized retail crime, but more as a convenience, like a shopping convenience. So on their subways, they have these screens, and people, while they're waiting in line for the subways, they're scanning it so it's ready for them to be picked up. So I think what we're hoping is that it'll be easy for them to transition.
I would say the third would be the operations behind it, with the product coming from the back room, moving up forward, having to be there for the customer when they're ready to go. How do you bridge that gap with time so it's still convenience and it still enhances the customer experience? We won't know that until we actually implement it, right? And there'll be some trial and error there.
Very insightful presentation. As from a supplier side, so I'm Christina Beck with the Ferrara Candy Company. And as a supplier, displays for us are very important for not only the consumer experience, but also to share new brands or innovation. How do you imagine maintaining that type of display approach for the supplier side in the stores being digitized?
So the digitize is just going to be certain items that are locked up, high moving. We're still going to have displays, and this is actually going to help because we're shortening the aisle, so that's going to give us more room to expand another display. So we are actually going to be gaining more display space. And then for our high moving items such as water and my Coca-Cola guy here, we'll say Coca-Cola, we're going to have extra facings of our high moving items. So it's less, we lose sales sometimes because we run out of stock and it's in the back. This is actually going to help us. So we think it's going to give us even more merchandising space.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.